I just tried Claude for the first time and it was fucking insane. I built out a full 3-statement model that would take a banker hours in just 20 minutes. I'm Archie. I've helped over 250 people land their first role in M&A, and I just recorded me using Claude for the first time in Excel. Let's jump in. So I've seen a lot about Claude in Excel and how it can build out models, and so I wanted to give it a go myself. So transparently, just played around with this for the last hour or so to see how it all worked. Extremely impressed. Like, it is insane. And so what I'm going to do now is going to take a 3-statement model that I built for Qantas. I'm going to give Claude the financial statements for Qantas, and then we're just going to see how it builds out the 3-statement model and then compare it to one that I've done ahead of time just as a bit of a check to see how it performs. I was blown away before, so yeah, keen to see how this all works. So let's jump straight into it. So we've got the model here. You can see like it's built out. It's pretty simple. There hasn't been too much in the assumptions going forward. Like, I've just used the same assumptions every year, not to overcomplicate it. Don't really care about the assumptions so much because they can be changed. I want Claude to build it so that we can fix whatever these assumptions are and it'll flow through the whole model. And so not stressing too much about going through exactly how I've used all of these assumptions. Some things I've tried not to overcomplicate to keep it quite simple. Like, for example, when we're looking like the accounting treatment of the leases, so the right of use and the lease liabilities, I haven't really factored that in and how that changes over time because I just wanted to see how Claude worked in building out a 3-statement model. So what I'm going to do here, as you can see, this is built off the financial statements that have come from the actual report itself. So I don't want to give that to Claude yet. I want to give it this tab here with the assumptions, and then also the historicals here as well, but I'm not going to link them to the statements. So let's just copy this tab out into a new tab, into a new book, Bring that one up. So now we've got like our new one that we're going to have Claude build out, and then we've got our reference one, which is this one here. So just looking at the top there, that's how you can tell which one's which. Book 3 is the one that Claude's going to be working through, which you'll see Claude on the right here as we go through it all. So first, I'm going to remove everything that is forecasted. Let's get rid of all of that. Okay, so that's not needed. Now what I want to do is I want to break any links I've got to the old file just to make sure that it's not pulling any information there. So now when I click on these are all hard-coded. Now they are colored green because they were references to other tabs within the original workbook. But now because they're hard-coded, I want to make them blue so that when Claude is going through things and building out everything in the model, it understands what I want in there as a format. And so the way I format things is black is formula-driven within the tab, blue is hard-coded, green is formula-driven from another tab within that workbook. So in doing that, let's just make all of this black so that they can see that format. Cool. So there is the template to work off. So this is typically what you would get, or what an analyst would get. They'd be given the historicals. They'd be asked to calculate or forecast out the future financials. So we've got 5-year period here, which is pretty standard. Usually you might have to have some kind of input on the assumptions as well there, but we're not going through that in this video. So what I want to do first is I want to see Claude bring in the financials from the annual report. You might need to install the extension here, but if you click that one, open that up. So first we're going to add in the actual financial report. So we've got the 2025 one there, just going to drop that in there. Now the prompt that I want to give it, So I'm just going to copy and paste the prompt here. So it's pretty simple. Just import the financial statements. I'm telling you where to grab those financial statements within that annual report, just so it doesn't get lost. Then I'm saying once you have completed importing that into separate tabs, then link up this historicals here to those separate tabs. I don't know how this is going to play out because I was only testing around with a couple other things. So I'm pretty keen to see how this works. But it shouldn't forecast out after doing this. It should just hopefully have these historicals and it should have them referenced to those other tabs. I don't expect it to have them coded in green because I haven't told Claude that. And also there's no like green color coding in there at the moment because nothing is driven off another tab at the moment. So let's just see how this plays out. So as it's going through here, you can see it writing, you can see it working. I'm going to like speed this part up so you don't have to sit here and watch me watching Claude for the next few minutes. So you'll just see it build it out in a bit of a faster time. So it's built out the tabs there. Obviously hasn't started importing anything yet, but hopefully it should start with the income statement here. So it's just done the income statement and the balance sheet. So it says it's doing the cash flow statement at the moment. Keen to see if it just pushes it all in all at once or if you can see it actually type it out. I missed the first two because it happened so quickly, but hoping I'll see this one now. Yeah, just pushes it all in one go, like doesn't type it out. That's crazy. Reformatting it now. Let's see if it's doing the other tabs. Same thing. It's hard to like keep up with what it's actually doing because it's typing so quickly and just going through everything. So like I don't know what tab to be in to see it do the work that it's doing. It's just absolutely smashing through it. Oh, cool. So you can see now it's like actually linked. I didn't even see that happen, but these are all linked out to the financial statements now. So it's like partly done the cash flow statement. Looks like it's done all of the balance sheet now. So I asked it to do the indirect method for the cash flow statement so you can see how it links between all three of the statements. So if I go to cash flow statement, the tab that I actually pulled in, so this looks very different to what it's building out in the 3-statement model. You see how it's like very simplified on the operating activities. And so you can see this is pulled directly from the P&L up here. Then it's also made the adjustment here of taking like those figures from, or that figure from the cash flow statement and then subtracting the above. And so like that's pretty crazy to me that it's able to do the indirect method there without much prompting. It's just going off that one prompt and taking the information across the 3 statements and doing that. That's pretty cool. Starting to update all of them. It's doing the green font. I didn't even tell it to do the green font. So that's pretty cool. Like, I mean, that is a standard formatting thing to have any internal links as green, but had no prompt to tell it that. I was thinking that it would just go black because it's a formula-driven thing like above, but it's all automatically doing that across the statements, and it's missing these two, which are internal links. Cool, so that it's done that now. And so it's said it's done the balance sheet checks, which we can see like it does balance on each of them. I've got the formula at the top there that would tell me if it wasn't balanced. I'm not going to go through like line by line on this video to show you what that all looks like and whether it compares and everything. But let's have a look at like the net income of, you know, that's formula driven. 1605 and 1251 1605 and 1251, and this is the one I built out versus the one that we've just watched Claude build out. And so to me, the income statement looks fine. Like obviously you would go through it line by line and make sure that each of them are pulled correctly, but I'm just going off the assumption that if that final number is formula driven and agrees, then it's probably right above it. I would check in practice, but not for this video. Same for the balance sheet. Let's just have a look at total assets, total liabilities, and see if it's the same. So 23,356, 23,356. Total liabilities, 22. Like, that's crazy. It's linked it all up. It's brought it all in. These aren't formatted great. So like in mine, I've formatted it the same way as they have in the Qantas annual report. So let's just do a prompt there and see if that does that automatically. Nothing fancy in terms of the prompt. Just put something in there. So let's see how it does with that. It's pulling like the title, text size, the color, the date subtitle. Like you can see there as it's going through there what it's typing up here. Like it's pulling all that information from the PDF. Like again, just with that there, you don't see it do like line by line. It just does it all in the background and then just pushes it all through. So might need to zoom in a little bit to see this, but we've got the gray here. Don't have the red borders yet. I don't know if it's going to continue doing that. So like comparison, that's that there. Let's bring up the actual annual report. So here we've got the income statement. You can see the red borders there, like the way that that's formatted. We're getting that format there. Notes is like just off. It should be on the bottom one there. Should have red borders. Here we've got 30 June 2025, missing the 2025 here. So like it's not 100%, but like it's pretty similar. Like it's actually spread all this out. It's got the notes in the other column there. It's 90 to 95% of the way there in a matter of minutes. It wouldn't take me long to fix that and get it to 100%. Same with the balance sheet. Must be working through the cash flow statement. Yeah. So it's still going through and checking things. So I'm just going to let it play out and see if it does make those little changes that I was talking about. Again, with this one here, consolidated income statement, like it's put it over here in column C. If we go back here, like it should be above here. Same with the balance sheet, same with cash flow statement. So it's slightly off. You can like click in there and see exactly what code and stuff it's doing as it's going through and what errors it's coming across. Cool. So like it didn't capture the red borders, which is fine. Like, and that's slightly off. As I said, it's about 90% of the way there. I think with one more prompt, if I told it to bring that across and the borders, it'd get there. I'm not going to bother because I'm going to move on. I might come back to that later and see how it goes. But really what I'm interested in is how it forecasts out and connects those financial statements as well. So I'm pretty keen to see if it gets the exact same numbers by 2030 that I have in my model, using the same assumptions, but having it flow through to all three of those statements and making sure that there's no issues there with the balance sheet or anything like that. So let's see how that goes. So really simple prompt there. You could tweak that and make that a lot better, but just typing it up as I would speak to an analyst, just forecast it out using the assumptions I've given you. Pretty straightforward. Let's see what it does. So just dropped that full 2026 in there for the income statement. It's formula driven. It's in black because it's formula driven within the tab. Awesome. Like I didn't have to even say make it dynamic and make sure that I can change the assumptions, but just looking at it, if I change that 9%, it would flow through that whole model that it's just put in there. While it's building out the rest, I'm just going to quickly look at that net income and see if that lines up with what I've got in the model that I built. So we've got 1445 cash flow, 1445 in the same year. Total assets 22,677. I should probably let this build it out, but yeah, let's let it build it out because it needs the cash there. Getting ahead of myself. And you can see that there, it's got that check there. It's got the error at the top there, so it knows to come back to that. So it's like, as you can see, there's a balance sheet issue here, but it keeps changing because it's still working through it and finding all these errors as it's going through. So I'm keen to see if it gets there and it does balance before it moves on to the next period. It seems to be struggling a bit here and going back through it over and over again. Looking at the total assets of 25, so it does agree. We've got the balance there, does balance. And in cash, it looks like it's all right. And so it's just going through its checks at the moment. So it did that first one, took a while to go through that and get that first one right. And then it's just copied that all the way across. As you can see with our checks up here, it all balances. The formatting's been thrown off a bit because it's just copied that cell all the way across. So you can see that that border's come across as well. So I'll be interested to see if it goes back and fixes that up. Total assets in 2027, 27,770. 27,770, net income 1618, 1618. So it all lines up. Like that's crazy how quick, once it got that first period sorted, it was able just to copy it across like you would if you were building it yourself. But the fact that it all worked meant like nothing was wrong with that initial first period that it's forecasted. And that's it all complete. So like, let's have a look at a couple of the periods there. We've got 24, 61, like all of those look right. Again, like I'm not checking through every single number on this video, but it's formula driven. And so it looks to have all come down fine. That is crazy. So the formatting's not great. I mean, sorry, it's not bad. It's a slight formatting issue with that. Like everything else, it's formatted in black text. It's all to the same decimals. They've kept the totals there. The totals all sum. It all looks right. Like I would dig into it and make sure it is, but straight off the bat, that looks awesome. What I want to do now, just to test it out, is I'm going to prompt it to see if it fixes that formatting. I'm going to tell it that there's formatting issues with the borders on the first tab. I'm not going to tell it exactly what. And then I'm going to tell it in the other ones that there's slight formatting issues with the title and with the color of the borders. And let's see what it does there. Okay, simple prompt there again, just telling it that there's an issue with the border formatting on the first tab. Haven't told them what it is. So obviously it's just that side thing. It should just be on either side of historical, either side of forecast period to show like which period it is. But they've copied it across, and so it's kind of stuffed that up a bit. Not telling it that, I'm just telling them there's an issue. Then that there's an issue across the rest of the tabs in terms of the border color, and that the title looks off. So let's see if it picks up what I mean by that without direct prompting. It takes quite a bit of time, like going through this really methodically. Like you can see the way that it's going through everything to check, probably because I haven't given it a direct enough prompt to tell it exactly what I want changed. So that's why it's probably taking a bit longer, but I wanted to test it out and see how it went. But yeah, it is taking a little bit of time to go through it all. So like now, I probably cut this or sped it up, so you might not have seen the extent of this, but it's taken quite a while to go through that next prompt there. So it's actually taken longer to go through this side of things than to build out the model in the first place, which is pretty interesting, considering it would take me like a handful of minutes to update the formatting there, to fix the borders there, to fix the formatting on this side. That would take me a couple of minutes, and it seems to be struggling to get that part done. But the first part of bringing in the statements and then building out the model would take me quite a while to do. And it did that like instantly. So I'm not sure if it's because my prompt was like so open-ended and I didn't really give any guidance at all. But yeah, it's interesting to see that. So I actually stopped it because it didn't get there. Like it just kept thinking and didn't actually do the task. It would take me like a handful of minutes to do it anyway. And so I just stopped it. But that is insane that it can put all this together. Like you watched it do that in such a short period of time. And I find it really cool that it just like grabs that information and then just drops it in. Like you're not seeing it type it out. Like imagining an analyst putting it together, it would be so slow to watch them type out and format every bit of this, whereas it just puts it all in there and then comes back like a little bit later and then fixes all the formatting up, like the width, the gray highlighting, the bold, all of that stuff with very, very little prompting. I think that if I was to tweak that prompt at the start, you'd get like near perfect results by the end of it. Thinking back like that green coloring without any prompting about how I do my models is crazy. I'm blown away with how that looks. That's insane. I don't know what to make of that. Like that's crazy watching it all play out. But hope you found that interesting. And if you haven't played with it before, 100% download it. Like cannot recommend that enough. Really cool to play around with it yourself. And I'm definitely going to be using that for like pretty much every model I do going forward. So I hope you found that interesting because I'm blown away.